Hi there, this is Lee. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, so I wanted to make sure that you could hear me first. If you could just chime in on chat and say you could hear me, that would be super awesome. My name is Lee Binz, and I'm the HomeScholar, and we are going to have a wonderful class today, and you're going to love it. I just need to make sure that you actually can hear me. So if you could just chime in on chat and say you could hear me, that's pretty much all that I really need. All I hope for in this whole world is that you will chime in and say hello. Hey, we do have a workbook today. It looks like this. So you want to print that off and make sure that you have it. I worked really hard on the workbook. I made the workbook first and then made the slides to match. And I got to tell you, I did find one duplicate word. So that was kind of sad, but I've worked around it and you'll never know the difference. So hi, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. For those of you who are safe and not in the path of a hurricane, I would like to ask you one question. Are you feeling like hot mocha or cold iced tea? I thought that would be kind of fun to talk about. I'm actually prepared with both. I made myself a homemade mocha and I have myself some ice water. So really, I'm prepared for anything. For those of you who are in the path of a hurricane, I just want to say I have been praying for you. And also, if your state is having a state of emergency because of these hurricanes, we're going to be following up with you afterwards and giving you the links for that whole college and career week so that you can have it for a month instead of just for a week. Because if you lose power tonight and you're out for 2 weeks, you're going to need that month long. So I just wanted to say I'm real sorry that you're facing that difficulty too. But hey guys, this is going to be a super fun and relaxing time. Hi Susan, hi Holly and Betty. That's my mother-in-law's name. I just wanted to welcome all of you here and then encourage you to make sure to get that workbook printed, okay? Because you're going to be using that an awful lot today. So let's make sure I give you the link for the workbook. Where's the link for the workbook? Okay, Matt's going to pop that in so that you have the workbook. You'll see that on the offer tab. Okay. Yes, I'm definitely praying, Laura. And oh yeah, you're in North Carolina. Okay. Yeah. So we're definitely, in Virginia. Boy, see, I really thought we would have a lot of people in the path of the hurricane because my friends who live there, they say that they look forward to these kinds of things, taking classes because they're stuck at home anyway, right? And they're waiting for their, that feeling of impending doom, taking classes, trying to distract themselves. So good to welcome you all here. All right, so download and print your workbook. Once you do that, though, it's the time to focus and learn. So we are definitely going to be focusing and learning. That means you have to turn off your phone, close all the other tabs on your browser, close your tablet, turn off the TV, grab a pen. If you are, say, like Kristen in Greenville, South Carolina, etc., we will be sending you a link with the recording. So if you do lose power, you will be able to have one whole month in order to be able to get that, that learning that you need to do. Okay. All right, I see a few others are joining us. So if you are, please make sure to download and print your workbook. It's going to be super useful and a great thing to keep for your reference from over time. So I hope everybody has your workbook ready because here we go. Welcome to my workshop today. We're talking about college applications, simply explained. And my name is Lee Binz, and I'm the HomeScholar. I hope you'll grab your coffee or tea, and let's just talk about college applications together. I really think that this class is going to go a long way in helping you understand the process and feel much more on top of your game. All right, so we will get you settled. Now, this is a perfect class for you if you're currently homeschooling high school and you want to make sure that you can do everything you can to prepare them for life after high school, helping them to achieve their dreams and launch successfully into life. In fact, I was just asked if this class is helpful for kids that are in public school or private school. The answer is yes. Many of these things I'm going to be talking about today are things that a guidance counselor would teach you if they only had time to. Anyway, so hopefully this is you. If it is, do me a favor and just type in yes. Now, I'm pretty sure all homeschool parents are feeling this way, but it's always good to know that we're together in this. And plus, today I'm not talking about transcripts or record keeping or whatever. I'm looking at the what comes next stage, the college and launch into life stage. Okay, Very good. Yeah, Stephanie says she can't see me. That's right. I took my video off the screen so that you can, it takes so much bandwidth, it really slows things down and makes things kind of jerk around. And so if I have just my slides showing, that's why. All right, great. So please stay for the whole workshop. At the very end, I'm going to give you a special offer for the college launch solution, but then I'm going to spend tons of time answering your specific question. Now, the college launch solution is going to help you prepare your teenager for college admission and successful launch into adulthood. And during this class, you're going to get lots of pro tips. You're among friends here. At the end, during the Q&A, you're free to ask anything at all. So this workshop is going to be a lot of fun, but I do want you to stay to the end to get your questions answered. I always feel like we as homeschool parents should get paid to attend continuing education classes, right? It's like the teachers in schools get paid for continuing it, and we should too. I think that's fair. At the end, do be ready, because when I give the offer for the college launch solution, I'm going to be giving you a $100 off special promo code that you can use, and adding some great fast action bonuses for people who are able to make that purchase today. Lots of goodies. It'll be great. Okay, so let's first of all announce the winners. You may know, if you were paying attention, that we were giving away 2 lucky memberships to the college launch solution. Now, if you are one of these 2 lucky people attending this class, I need you to email me, because you have to be present to win. Winner number 1 is Laura in North Carolina. Her email address starts with Laura S. And winner number 2 is Terry in California, and her email address starts with Hello Y. All you have to do is send me an email, lee@homehighschoolhelp.com. Send me an email, and then we will award your prize. If these are your friends and they're not here today, you can certainly tell them they can attend my class tomorrow. And yes, it's true. Laura is in North Carolina. She has already evacuated. We did contact her by email directly, and she did win. All right. Now, everybody, deep breath in, deep breath out. All right. I want to know from you, what is your biggest concern about the college application process? In just a couple of words. Don't be shy. I actually do want to know. Sometimes parents have total confusion about how to get into college. They never went themselves, or finding the right college, or getting scholarships for college. Whatever your biggest concern is, I'd love for you to chime in on chat. Like Tanya, how to fill out the Common App, or if they won't take your transcript seriously, or missing deadlines, etc. I know, and finding the school, right? The personal essay, we'll talk a lot about that today. I know it all feels very, very scary. And, you know, parent to parent, there's nothing quite like teenage angst added to financial implications to cause parental stress, right? But I will say that you are going to love this class today. You're definitely going to get a lot of things answered today. I'm not going to be talking specifically about the Common App exactly. And so that would be a perfect question for you to ask at the end today. Perfect example. All right. All right. Here's what you're going to learn. This is what we're covering. We're going to go over the ins and outs of the whole college application process. I'm going to teach you the keys to a successful college search so you can find just the right one. I'm going to talk about principles for writing that perfect application essay that people were just talking about. We're going to talk about how to create professional homeschool records that get the best admission and scholarship consideration. I know a lot of people mention scholarships. And then we're going to talk about how to launch a smooth, drama-free transition from homeschooling into adulthood. And then I'm going to have the Q&A so that if I don't cover something like, say, the Common App or whatever, you'll be able to get your questions answered. Okay? So type in yes or no. Has this been what you come to learn today? Like Rosa, she just chimed in. How do you get that teacher letter when you're the teacher? Right. I'm going to cover that today. Now, I will say, I know what it's like to start the process. I remember how anxious I was and dealing with all of the people that I talk to every day. It does kind of feel like there's three most common situations that parents are likely to face. The first one is the goals of your child make it really hard and very challenging to even start the process, especially if your teenager wants a specific school, like an Ivy League school, or this one school because they have, this one cyber patriot sort of thing, or a military academy or selective school or a reach school. That's what happens to Tracy's daughter. She had her heart set on Pepperdine, which is, a pretty high echelon school for a Christian campus. Amazing beach campus, very high California price tag. And so she knew she needed some help. Or Michelle's son, who's pictured there, he wanted to go to West Point, which is the elite of elite schools. It is more elite than Harvard or Yale. It definitely has the longest, most arduous application process. And so Michelle needed some help pulling it all together. And that's why she turned to me. Or financial implications. That can make the application process super stressful because the second situation is when the parents need scholarships almost more than anything else, or their child literally can't go to college at all, right? And this is probably the most common situation that a lot of homeschool families face, especially if they're single income families. And this is where, barring a financial miracle, college just isn't practical. And that's what Lynn in Washington was facing. This is her daughter on the left. She had 3 high schoolers who had big dreams, but how was she going to afford 3 going to college without a mountain of debt? Or on the right there, you see Lori in Idaho, similar situation. She felt a mountain of responsibility to help her son get through college without debt, right? So the third situation is for people that are trying to find that perfect fit, right? Because of the goals you have for your children in combination with the college and career goals for the teen. This was actually the situation I was in for my youngest son, Alex, because he started college at the age of 16, but he also had a life-threatening allergy to peanut. So if you know what the word anaphylaxis is, welcome to my world. The college had to be a really perfect fit. It had to be challenging enough for a gifted student. It had to be wholesome enough for a younger student. And it had to keep him alive while eating in a cafeteria for 4 years. That was crazy. But Nancy there on the left, pictured on the left, she also had special circumstances. Not only was her family missionaries in the Philippines, but her son Benjamin had a very specific school that he wanted to attend. It was a small Christian school that had missionary support with an accredited degree in industrial design. So goals don't get more specific than that. Or Jean, pictured there on the right, her daughter was also quite young when she graduated, and she had some very specific requirements when it came to fulfilling that. So which of these situations, 1, 2, or 3, do you most relate to, do you think? While you're answering that in chat, let's just say I know that you have unique goals and needs and desires too. And my goal today is to try to explain the college application very simply so that when we're done, you're going to have a solid understanding of what the process is like. And to start with, I want to give you an overview because it's probably been a long time since you applied for college, or maybe you never went to college. But I got to tell you, a lot has changed in the last few years, particularly as public education has really struggled to produce well-educated students. Colleges are having more trouble figuring out who is an educated applicant. So let's start by talking about the things that are needed. You see, colleges need information about the student, okay? In your workbook under number 1, that's what I want you to write. They need information about the student and the school. Why? Well, it's because they have to make admission decisions and scholarship decisions. And the purpose of the application is to help colleges get to know your student so they can make those decisions that will benefit you. The college application process is actually very long, and it requires 3 things. It requires time, effort, and attention to detail. But when you pay close attention to all those 3 things, the financial rewards can be quite huge, all right? So it's time for you to write down a pro tip. What colleges really want is what they call demonstrated interest. Okay, so write that down. Colleges really want demonstrated interest. That's why we go through this whole process, right? That's why we do this. We want them to know for a fact we have visited. They have a record and official visit. They know we've looked at all their details, in particulars online. They know that you want to attend. They don't have to guess that if they offer you admission, they are sure you're going to say yes if they offer you admission. And that's what the demonstrated interest does. Now, college admission and scholarships increase with what I call college coupons. Now, these college coupons are sort of like clipping grocery store coupons, right? These are the many small things that you do, and you try to combine them together so that you can get a financial reward. So what are those college coupons? There are actually 8 of them, and I'm going to list them pretty quickly. So make sure you grab your pen and have your workbook. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I won't have time to go into a lot of detail, but they are all covered in detail in the College Launch Solution. After we cover these 8, then I'm going to go on to focus on the biggest, most important coupons, the ones you need to pay the most attention to. So you'll get the most benefit from this class today. Okay, what are the common college coupons? The first one is rigorous academic education. Okay, you have to be educated. The second is genuine activities and volunteer work, not forced by mom or dad, but genuine from the teenager. The third is a professional and accurate homeschool transcript. Okay, you can do that yourself at home. I'm happy to help you if you need any help, but it's a homeschool transcript. Number 4, thorough course descriptions so that they know the rigor of your homeschool. Okay, number 5, meaningful college visits so that they know you were there. Number 6, timely completion of forms. All those application forms, you have to turn them in before the deadline. Number 7, great letters of recommendation. Okay, letters of recommendation. They may have to be written by you, by the way. Awkward. Number 8, self-reflective, technically perfect essays. Ooh, written by teenagers. Ow. We're going to talk about that more in detail. Now, all of these things together are really what you and the student are doing to paint a portrait of your student, a complete portrait, so that the college officials know, they feel like they know the student individually. Okay, now let's start out by talking about the easiest piece of this puzzle that has a huge influence on admission. The first piece is the letters of recommendation, okay? Letters of recommendation. While the student is the one that needs to arrange for these, the parent is the project manager ensuring that it's actually done. Still, this is not a hard piece because it's not actually you writing the letter most of the time. It's usually somebody else. So this coupon that you clip is really just a question that you ask. Will you write my letter of recommendation? And you want to think about 2 specific things, right? The recommender should be someone who is a writer that knows your student well, okay? Knows your student well. And number 2, can write well. That's the 2 things you're looking for. So a flighty person who's not going to turn it in, a poor writer, maybe, sometimes artists aren't the best writers, I'm just going to say, or engineers, sometimes they're not the best writers. They have to write well. Now, they should also be willing to write a very glowing report. Each letter of recommendation takes time for them to write and to submit, and it's a big commitment. So you want to be mindful of their time and appreciative. You can provide a resume and your homeschool transcript for the recommender to look at when they're writing their letter of recommendation. That way they're going to know the other aspects of the student's life. You know, they only interact with this one piece and may not have a fuller picture of the child, okay? Now, there's other information that you're going to need when you apply. So it's helpful to know what's coming ahead, don't you think? So let's talk about that for a moment. First of all, you have to find the application forms, okay? So down at the bottom of page 2 in your workbook, write college application forms. Now, this could be the Common App. I was asked a question about the Common App earlier. It could be the application directly from the college. Each college may have a different kind of application form. That's why it takes a while to find them. The next one is you have to have your homeschool records ready to go. This means that you have already prepared your course descriptions, your activity list. It means that you have to submit other school transcripts. If your child has ever taken a class at a public school or dual enrollment at a college, those have to be mailed from that school directly to the university you're applying for without you being the middleman, okay? You may be asked to submit an art, athletic, or supplement of some kind required by your college or required by your situation. There may be something special like getting a congressperson's nomination to the military academy. So these things take time. The other thing you need is the letters of recommendation that have to be mailed from the recommender to the college, again, without you being in the middle. That can be shocking to people, but you literally never see what your recommender wrote about your child. The next is the FAFSA. You want to fill out the FAFSA in October. That's how you get financial aid. It's sort of like a tax form that you have to fill out every October instead of every April. And then the application forms have to be paid. And each application can cost $50 to $100. And then test scores have to be submitted from the test provider directly to the college. Again, you're not the middleman, right? And that brings me to the next big pro tip. I need you guys to write this down. I want you to beat all application deadlines, okay? So on the top of page 3 where it says notes, write that down, beat all application deadlines. So you have to start those applications early. They take a lot of time. What I suggest is that you try to beat the deadline by a month, whenever humanly possible. Okay, now we have covered an overview of the process, but let's be honest. At this stage in your homeschool career, you may not even know where you want your child to apply. Okay, so let's figure that one out next. In this section, we're going to look at how to find a college that's a perfect fit for your student. Because before you can apply, you have to find the right college to know where you're going to apply to. And college that are likely to admit your student with their gifts and skills and abilities and test scores. And hopefully colleges that will give you scholarships as well. So here's how you start. You begin your search by going to a college fair. So I want you to write that down in your workbook. Finding a college, number 1, attend a college fair, right? It's worth a trip to the city so that you can meet 200 colleges at once instead of driving all over tarnation. Now, there's other ways to search too. There's the test searches, the SAT or ACT. They will give the student information to colleges if you allow that. And I think it's a good idea to allow that. You want colleges to know your student is, available. You can search for colleges that are nearby, the local ones. You can do online searches for perfect fit colleges with your degree or your location preferences. Whatever you do, though, think about it together. This is definitely a partnership between the parent and the teen. You see, the teen needs to understand that the parent writes the check, so the parent gets final approval. But at the same time, the parent needs to understand that the teen is the person who's actually going to be living there for 4 years. So working together is a really big deal. All right, so step 1 is attend a college fair. Step 2 is to compare college statistics. You want to read the information on the colleges, that things they give you, read the ratings in books and magazines and online, and that will help you to understand if you're a good fit for that college. I like getting guidebooks from the library and just getting copies of the pages that are just about colleges that you're interested in. So you only have to read maybe 20 pages, right? 1 page on each college. But that way you're not overwhelmed by information. So you can write this down if you're interested. You could get the Fiske Guide to Colleges, Fiske, or the Princeton Review Complete Book of Colleges, or U.S. News and World Report has one. They call it Best Colleges, or the College Board College Handbook. Oh, and Peterson's, the review company Peterson's, they also have a guidebook called Peterson's 4-Year College. Now, my husband is chiming in on chat with a link where you can learn about how to read college statistics. So you want to grab that link. It's in the chat box. All right, next stop is visiting colleges during 11th grade or earlier. All right, you want to make sure that you have an actual living, breathing visit with them on campus. Let me explain what's going to happen on a campus visit. You want to evaluate everything carefully. You're going to meet with the admission representative. You'll meet with the department heads, the leaders of each department that you're interested in. They may have you meet with the financial aid people. You'll definitely take a tour. You'll definitely be offered the opportunity to take a class that's interesting to your child. Usually they'll give you a voucher to eat in the cafeteria so you can eat their food. While you're there, you take notes on everything. The names of people that you met, the classes that you took, what you saw, what you remembered about it, what you liked, what you didn't like about each college. Take notes on everything. All right, now this is important. I know I've mentioned it before, but you want them to know you were here. So you want to make an official visit appointment to demonstrate interest. Do not just show up on campus, all right? Actually make a visit. Okay, so now that is the process of finding a college. Now let's talk about how do you choose a college where you apply, okay? By the end of junior year, you want to have a complete list of the colleges where you plan to apply. So let's talk about how do you choose colleges from all of them in the world to the right colleges that you should apply to. Here's what I want you to write down. I want you to apply for a total of 4 to 8 colleges. 4 to 8 colleges. Never fewer than 4, not more than 12. Now this is huge. You never want to apply for one college, not even if it's the one and only college that your child says they will ever possibly love. You always need a backup plan, because the worst thing that can happen is you don't get the scholarships you need at that one college. Your child can't go and all of their friends are leaving for college and they don't have a plan, right? You don't want that to happen. You want them to have something, a plan, a backup plan. And that's why I always recommend 4 to 8 colleges. I love Holly's comment. Do we throw a meatball at a church? I teach that in another class, but not for this. Okay. Thank you, Holly. That made me giggle. All right. Now, how do you choose those 4 to 8 colleges? Well, you have to choose a variety of schools based on reach, fit, or safety, which depends on your SAT or ACT score compared to the average score at the college. Okay, let me explain. A reach college is where the student may qualify based on test scores, right? The college test scores are higher than your child's test scores, but you still meet the requirements. Okay. A fit college is a perfect match academically. Your test scores are about the same as the college test scores, and you meet the requirements. A safety college is almost certain to offer admission because your test scores are higher. The college's test scores are lower than your child, and you probably even exceed requirements. Okay. The next thing you want to do is to include both public and private universities. Now, you may not believe this, but actually the price can be the same between public and private. You see, a public school has a lower sticker price, but few scholarships. And a private school has a higher sticker price, but tons of scholarships. And that's why the price may be the same. Okay, so I want to make sure that you apply to a variety. Okay, now here's a pro tip, really important. Ivy League universities and military academies are always reach schools for everyone, no matter how smart your child is. Your child is no exception. There are incredibly gifted people who are rejected by all 8 Ivy League schools every year, and they're incredibly bright. Never assume you will get in. Always have a backup plan. Okay, so we've covered an overview of the process. We've looked at finding a college. Now I want to go into some detail on another big piece of the puzzle, the one that many people asked about, right? And that is how to write the application essay. I know this ends up being the most stressful things for teenagers, because it is an application essay and it's the teenager who does the writing and it affects their future. And you know, as a parent, it affects your future too, because how much you'll need to shell out for college education can be affected by the essay. And here's another problem too. It's not just the pressure of writing, it's the amount of writing. If you're applying to 4 colleges, say, and each of those colleges wants 3 essays, your teenager is looking at writing 12 essays that can determine their future. That's pretty tough stuff for teens. So let me explain the application writing process, why it's important, and how you can write fewer essays so that you experience less stress. Okay, so let's jump in and do a deep dive into the college application essays. The first thing you need to understand, we're at the bottom of page 3 in the workbook, okay, is that these essays are self-reflective and personal, written by the teenager. And that answers the question, who are you? Okay. Now, when it's a personal essay and self-reflective, that does mean for the teenager, you might want to write this down, I, me, my, okay, first person. Next, they are technically perfect. That answers the question, how well can you write? Now, they are technically perfect, but they can be edited many times. You can spend months writing this thing to make it technically perfect. The next thing is the application topics are unique. Each college has unique questions. So that answers their question, why should we admit you above all else? Okay? All right. Now, this is a huge deal. Never repeat anything between the essays you write at each colleges, because the colleges want to know all about you, not just one side of you. They've read your transcript. They don't need to know what classes you're taking or what grades you're getting. They've seen your test scores. They don't need to know anymore about what your SAT scores are or your ACT scores are. They also want to get, different aspects of your personality. So I explain it this way. Don't write 3 essays about apples, no matter how much you like apples. These are not 3 different apples on the screen. These are all apples, okay? You want to have essays that are so different, they aren't even all vegetables. They're not even all nouns. You're trying to show completely different perspectives of your personality and your experience. So here's what you don't do. Never repeat anything that sounds familiar. Don't write 3 essays about coffee, even if you're me and love coffee. Never repeat the same topic for the same school, right? Keywords should only be used in one essay. So a dancer would only use the word dance in one essay. And then never repeat information that's found other places on your application. So you don't mention grades or GPA or SAT or list activities or say what your classes are. You don't do that. Okay, now this is the good part, right? I want you to reduce, reuse, and recycle your college admission essays, okay? You'll be asked to write 1 to 4 essays per college, but college questions, they generally overlap. So here's how to solve that problem. You write just a few general essays that you can use for all colleges, and then you modify them so they're perfect for each application. So let's talk more about how to do that, okay? First is the pre-writing process. You want to read the essay questions together, okay? Teens don't always understand what a college is really asking. So for example, the year that we were applying to college, it seemed like all of our colleges asked questions about diversity, and my children didn't understand those, how they could answer a question about diversity since they were white guys, you know? All right, so brainstorm every possible idea that you could write about that might answer the question. After you've done those things, then you need to read the parameters carefully again. Read the exact question. How long should it be? You don't want your first interaction with a college to be breaking the rules, right? They're also looking to see if you are detail-oriented, right? So look at the topic to be sure you answer the question. Look at the length. By the way, look carefully to see if they specify word count, page count, or character count. And sometimes they'll even give other requirements, you know, like it must be 12-point times New Roman font, no indentation, something like that. And you want to make sure that you have obeyed the rules. Now, there are some common essay topics. These are the ones you're most likely to see. The first one is the personal statement. That's who are you? And what do you want to do in life? The next is the faith statement that is often asked for at a Christian college. Even if they don't require you to be a Christian, they may ask you about your faith. Number 3, they'll ask you to comment on something that's meaningful in your life, a book that changed you, a person that's significant to you, an experience you had that stands out. And you can talk about whatever it is and whatever it means to you. Number 4 is the issues statement. They'll want you to talk about an issue that is important to you. Sometimes they'll tell you about an issue that they want you to write about. Other times they'll give you an open-ended question. Write about anything that you find interesting, right? Do you read or watch the news together? Now, really quickly, I'm going to have my husband throw in onto the chat box. There it is. I have a free ebook. It's called 75 College Application Essay Prompts. And you can use it during junior year so that you can practice and perfect your essay writing during junior year. So make sure you grab that from the chat box and hang on to that. Okay, now I want to show you how to write fewer essays so your teen doesn't become overwhelmed, start acting out, crying and demanding pizza, melting into a puddle of anxiety. That would be bad. So let's talk about how to write fewer essays. The first thing you do is to locate all essay topics from all colleges, all right? You can find them during the college visit or once they start their application forms. You can ask your admission counselor if you want to, but write down all the essay topics that are available for each college. We're going to be looking for overlap. Okay, next thing you want to do is to brainstorm ideas that you could write about as a teenager. What are your ideas for a meaningful event, book, person experience? You could answer with lots of different things. My son could answer that he wanted to write about Thomas Jefferson, or about Jean-Baptiste Say. My son is a super nerd. It is true. Or you could answer with his experience in youth and government, or by talking about his internship at a public policy think tank. Or he could answer it by talking about his hospital stay when he got his first book on Adam Smith, right? A life-changing event for him. You see how there are different things that you could write about, all based on one particular question, right? So you brainstorm all of those for each essay that they might ask you for. The next thing you do is you circle the ideas that you can think of that don't overlap in any way. These are the essays that you could write where you won't use even the same words to describe anything, okay? You could have one essay on a work experience, one about a book that they read, one about something they did at church, one about, something the child thinks deeply about. Now, this is really important for the teenager to know. You don't have to write about something you don't know about. When you're writing these essays, you're going to know what you're writing about. It's not a test. It's not an essay test. They're just trying to get to know your personality. So you'll always be writing about something you do know about. All right, the next thing you want to do is to choose themes that are unique based on your ideas. They don't repeat anything between them. They don't repeat anything else in your application. And in this example, we just went from 12 essays down to 4. So it's time for another pro tip. I've said this 3 times, and I'm saying it again as a pro tip. I need you to write this down. Do not repeat anything between essays, okay? I realize I repeated myself, but this is not a college application essay. This is teaching you to write a college application essay. You see, if one of your essays mention horses, the other essay does not mention horses or horse racing or showing horses or 4-H and horses or your ranch and horses or any other essay using the word equine either, okay? Don't repeat anything. Now, I want to give one more big tip that I want you to write this down. Okay, make sure each essay starts with a hook. Each essay starts with a hook. A grabbing sentence, a grabbing event. I like to tell teenagers to start with a sentence that would make your grandma gasp, but not blush. Something that will grab the reader and pull them in. A shocking moment, a notable event, something unusual. And in fact, when I'm helping people write their essays, if I'm dealing with a teenager and they've sent me their application essays, usually what I'll do is I'll scan the first paragraph or two and look for the sentence that makes the best hook and move that into the front. All right, so that's altogether the process of essay writing. It means that you write, edit, and rewrite. One time a teenager says, is it okay to incorporate my parents' edits into my essay, or is that plagiarism? It is not plagiarism. These are supposed to be edited and rewritten, okay? So you have another parent or an adult edit, and then you rewrite as the teenager. Next thing you do is you read the question again because you need to make sure you answer the exact question that they asked you. And then when possible, add details that are unique to the college, right? Like, as Dr. Reinsma told me when I took the class on whatever, and you bring that information into the essay. And then you want to store essays separately for each college. In fact, here's a good rule of thumb. Use desktop folders and have a desktop folder called College Applications. And then inside of that folder, you'll have a college name for each of the colleges that you're applying for. Of course, I had it more complicated because I had college applications for Alex and college applications for Kevin, and then inside each folder was theirs. Anyway, all right, now that was quite a deep dive into essays, I know, but we need to move on if we want to have time to finish. Now, this last section was information for the teenager. But now I want to talk directly to the homeschool parent. So any teens who are taking this class with me today, you can go get a snack and come right back because I'm going to get back to you in a second. But I am going to be talking to the parents next. The application process means that you as the parent need to submit your homeschool records to someone. And it's possibly for the first time anybody has ever peeked into your homeschool records. So we need to talk about how to prepare homeschool records, because colleges need to know about your school and your students' performance at the school, and you're the school. All schools need to make and keep that permanent record. And this is your job. So let's spend a few moments now just making sure you know exactly what you're doing here. All right. You need to prepare homeschool records. We're on the bottom of page 4. The minimum requirement is a high school transcript. I want everyone to make their child a high school transcript. What we're seeing now is second generation homeschoolers, and the first generation homeschool parents didn't make a transcript. And now the second generation doesn't know what's involved or needs the high school transcript. Now they're 40 years old and they want to get, I don't know, a teaching degree. Okay. It is the minimum requirement. You need to make a high school transcript. Number 2, you want to make comprehensive records. That is thorough documentation. That's what increases your chance of admission and scholarships. I always recommend submitting complete records when you send in your application. Don't wait for them to ask you for it, because they may not. Now, let me demystify the transcript for just a moment. The transcript is a one-page overview. Write that down, one-page overview. Again, it's the minimum requirement for all parents, and it should have the following information: class title, credit value, the grade you gave, and the graduation date. Much of the rest is all fluff and art, but those are the requirements. Now, the next is the cover letter. Now, for this, I want you to write down the cover letter is the first introduction. When you send your homeschool records, you need to explain what it is they're opening. In business, they call it a cover letter, right? Normally, it's very simple. Enclosed are the homeschool records for my son, Kevin Binz. Other times, it's a useful tool that you can use to address any unusual concerns or explain anything different. Bad grades at a community college, why you began homeschooling after they had 2 years in public school, right? You can explain anything. Now, course descriptions describe one class, right? Course descriptions describe each class in 1 page or less. Now, there are 3 ingredients of a course description. The first ingredient is what you did, a paragraph describing your homeschool class. The second ingredient is what you used, your curriculum, what you plan to use, or supplements you used, or books you added for fun, or field trips, or activities and lessons outside the home. Number 3 is a description of how you graded, never just tests, but every way that you've evaluated, right? The grade is based on test quizzes and lab reports, or the grade is based on daily work and discussion. Next piece of information you need to provide is a reading list. Now, for this, I want you to write down a simple list. This is not a bibliography. It is normal for a teen to have 6 books, and it's normal for a teen to have 600 books. But it's a list, not a bibliography. So title and author is just fine. You include in that list reading for school. All your English literature goes on there. Reading for work. They had to read this book. Or reading for pleasure, right? As long as it's not a comic book. It's helpful with prolific readers. If you alphabetize your list, that will help you to prevent duplicates. Yes, you can include audiobooks. You can include plays. You can include read-alouds. You can include nonfiction. And you can include magazines. Again, it's normal to have 600 to 600 books per year. Next up, the activity and awards list. This is where you list all of the activities done in high school. Do not include activities done before high school. Not even yours, not even your child, not even a big deal. Do not include activities before high school. Now, the order of this matters. What do you put first is the most significant or the longest lasting. You've done it for 4 years. What comes next is the things that are less important or they have shorter duration. And for each activity, you highlight the awards or leadership things earned. Now, I do want to say it's okay for an activity to be listed on the activity list and be a class on the transcript. So, for example, when I was in high school, I was involved in choir, and choir was on my transcript every year. I got 1 credit of choir every year, but it was also on my activity list. I was a member of the Bellevue High School choir, right? Now, I had friends that did journalism, and it was on their transcript and it was their activity list. Others were doing yearbook, transcript and activity list. It is okay. All right. The next thing you want to do is to provide work samples. All right. Now, writing samples can be included in your comprehensive records. Maybe include 1, 2, or 3 papers that were written by the student. In addition, sometimes a college will request certain work samples. And because you don't always know which work samples they're going to be requested, because you don't always know what colleges you're going to go to when you start the process, right? So it can really help save your anxiety if you simply save work samples from each course. That way, no matter what they ask you for, you will be ready. Now, let me tell you what I was asked for when my children applied to college. I was asked for 3 things. Number 1, math in the student's handwriting. I thought that was interesting. Number 2, I was asked for a science lab report. By the way, I gave my child's best lab report. I did not give them the lab report that I remember the most because it was the most annoying. Number 3, I was asked for a graded English paper, which was super easy because I printed it up from the computer, wrote a giant A on it in red pencil and submitted that. Okay. Now we're on the top of page 5. The next thing you may be asked for is a school profile. This describes your homeschool, not your student. So what I suggest when you're trying to describe your homeschool is that you try to think of a couple of different keywords that describe how you home educate or something that will help them understand your attitudes. So think about these words, for example. Maybe you include things like mastery-based. You know, a synonym for mastery-based is mean mom, okay? You're a mean mom, you're mastery-based. Or year-round, or delight-directed learning, or literature-based, or STEM emphasis, right? There's a lot of different keywords that might describe your homeschool. A next thing you might be asked for is a counselor letter of recommendation. Bum, bum, bum. You know, when you're the parent and you have to write a letter of recommendation for your child, that is super awkward, but you have to do it. So here's what you need to do. You want to make sure you use strong words, right? Not, he's sort of like this. You want to use strong phrases to describe your child. Do some brainstorming before you start. I will say the counselor letter should only include information from high school. Never mention anything before high school because you're the high school guidance counselor, not the mommy talking here. Now, this is a big deal. At the very end, you want to have a clear conclusion. You want to say, I highly recommend this student for admission, okay? In business, they call it a call to action, right? You want to tell them what to do, okay? All right, we've talked a lot about homeschool records. Hopefully the teenager is back. If not, call them. But I need to give you one important pro tip, okay? Some colleges say they don't need course descriptions. But most colleges will require, request, or appreciate course descriptions. In my experience, your homeschool course descriptions make all the difference in scholarships. Obviously, colleges don't want to give scholarships. Obviously, colleges want everybody to pay full price. And at the same time, colleges don't want to put anything between the child and a person willing to pay full price, right? They want to admit as many people as possible that will pay full price. And so for that reason, many colleges will say, no, we don't need that. Thank you. But I still find it helpful financially. The more information you can provide about your homeschool, the more they understand the value of home education. So plan ahead by having course descriptions ready for college admission. Even if you don't need scholarships, it can help you get into an honors program. All right, we have done our deep dive into preparing homeschool records, and we're almost done. In this next section, we're going to talk about the thing that's most important to the application, more important than choosing a college. It's even more important than the essay, more important than homeschool records. I hope you're ready. This is your plan for the transition. We need to talk about how to get your child from childhood into adulthood, because every year moms and dads send their children to college, and that's when they realize the cold, hard truth. Your plan for the future is going to be the most important things that you're doing now during the high school years. You see, our job is to raise adults, not grow children. So let's talk about that transition. First of all, you see this picture here. This is what your child will look like when they are going off to college. So what do? You want to expect changes to happen during 11th and 12th grade. Expect change. Me personally, I hate change, but huge changes are expected. As kids age and develop maturity, they change a lot. I want you to think for a moment about the difference between a newborn and a 4-year-old. That is the amount of change you can expect over the years of high school, right? You see this toddler? No kidding. This is what they look like when they're making their bed in the dorm for the first time. Now, in the process of change, these fears are abundant. They run rampant. The parent is fearing scholarship results because they have to pay for college. The children, the teenagers, yes, that's you. I know that you feel fear about the college decision or what degree to choose or how do you choose the college. And here's what you need to know. This is not at all like getting married. You're not getting married to this college. You're not getting married to this career choice. You can change your mind. Okay, so you just have to take that one step. It's your first college. It's your first career. Okay, next thing is schedules get busier. Busy schedules get busier. You think you're busy now. You think it's going to lighten up when the senior is driving all the time, but actually senior year is truly the busiest. And then you have that double whammy. You see, the teenager becomes increasingly independent, and at the same time, because they're adults, they become less compliant because they're acting like adults. And adults are not compliant. Adults act on their own, right? This is a real double whammy when they're more independent but less compliant, okay? So here's how you handle that. You want to plan ahead for junior year. Let's talk about the junior year plan. I'm going to have to list it kind of quickly. We don't have time to do a deep dive into junior year right now. Okay, so write this down. Plan ahead for junior year. Take the PSAT in October, so your child gets some real test situation practice. Number 2, you want to choose between the SAT test and the ACT test by taking it at home just for fun. Next up, you attend the college fair in the fall. You also start your test preparation in the fall of junior year, and you do test prep for SAT or ACT. Now, in the spring, you visit the colleges in the spring, visit each college where you're going to apply. And you also take the SAT test or ACT test twice in the spring, maybe like March and May, something like that. That'll give you the best chance of scholarships. All right, now time for pro tip, okay? Start college applications the first day of senior year. Start applications the first day of senior year. Now listen up, you want to check the due date for each application because some will actually have an even easier earlier deadline. But this one tip can be very surprising to homeschool moms who think applying to the university is like signing up for co-op class or signing up for dual enrollment. But no, it's not. You have to apply much, much earlier. So generally speaking, you start the college application process at the beginning of senior year. You may need to start earlier if you're doing dual enrollment and your child is going to carry a full schedule, or if their deadline is earlier, or if they have like incredible activities that are going to keep them super busy. All right, now is the time for you to think about what do you need to be able to launch your child successfully. I've given you earlier the common situations with examples at the beginning of workshop. So I want to fill you in on the rest of the story, what happened to each of those people. You see, Tracy's daughter made it into the college of her dreams. She said that the application was the most challenging thing she had done while homeschooling, and she couldn't imagine doing it alone. But she reached out for help, and that's what made the difference. It was that accountability. She just needed some direction to get through that challenging time. And Michelle's son was accepted into the United States Military Academy at West Point. What a huge deal. But it is a huge process, much longer, much more complicated than almost any other kind of application. Only a parent could truly understand all of the details, the ins and outs. But I'm sure glad I was able to talk with her while facing that long and arduous process. She was successful because of encouragement. An enthusiastic cheerleader, somebody to come alongside and hash out the feelings along the way. Lynn in Washington was successful too. She was so thrilled because her daughter earned the highest possible scholarship at her first choice university. Now, not that I'm jealous or anything, but her award was actually far more than what my children got. This is her daughter pictured here. She really needed those big scholarships, but she invested in what she needed so that she could reap the rewards. You see, homeschoolers do need products that are affordable, but there is an investment to make in order to win that full tuition scholarship. And Lori in Idaho was so happy to share that her son earned a full tuition scholarship as well. Actually, what happened to Lori was her son was invited to a full tuition scholarship competition at 5 different universities. And she said it was because of his application and homeschool records, and she was very thankful to have the support and advice through the process. She talked in her letter to me about how she needed the knowledge to make the records, but it couldn't have happened without the help and advice. So she really needed the encouragement and accountability as well. And then there's Nancy. Her son did get into his dream college, which was incredibly important to Nancy because they were separated by thousands of miles. She remained calm by having me come alongside so she didn't have to face it alone. And she wrote that she was very thankful for the down-to-earth, effective, clear, practical, useful information that she received. And she said, Lee, we could not have done this without your help. You calmed my fears that kept me awake at night. That meant so much to me because I remember staying awake at night and the fears that I had. And Jean, she felt like she really needed some accountability. And she was emailing me weekly just to make sure she could get the coaching she needed through the process. She saved money on the application process. You know how I said it's $50 to $100 per college to apply to. So she was super excited. She only had to pay 3 application fees. But also she got fabulous scholarships in the process. So in this case study group of stories, it's easy to see that there are 4 things required. And all of these moms we just heard about had those 4 things required to oversee the process. So we're at the bottom of page 5 in your workbook. Let's talk about it. What you need is sometimes missing when you're homeschooling alone. You need knowledge, right? What are you supposed to do and when are you supposed to do it? Number 2, you need encouragement. Did you see how many times those parents mentioned encouragement? Having a personal consultant or cheerleader is huge. Obviously, if you ask for my help, I cannot do the work for you, but I can certainly encourage you on the way and point you in the right direction. Number 3, you need accountability. Somebody to come alongside and say things like, hey, do you have your transcript ready? Have you visited that college? Did you review interview questions before you went there, right? And number 4, it's got to be affordable. Whatever you need to get all this stuff, you have to invest in something that's affordable because you will be paying for college soon. I know that, and that's a scary financial place to be in. So I want you to chime in on chat. Wasn't that encouraging to hear? Real homeschool parents with real success. I thought it was incredibly encouraging. And it can happen to you too. You could be another person that gets better scholarships than me. So real quickly, let me check in on my performance too. Have you enjoyed this workshop and has it been helpful to you? Yes or no? And if you could just chime in on chat and answer that, that'd be great. But there is one more thing I need you to write down in your workbook before we move on. So I need you to look at the top of page 6. You see, it is time for you to make a commitment. You need to think about how much time and effort this process is worth to you. Like all these moms said, it's long, it's arduous, sometimes longer and more arduous. But when you work the process, it's totally worth it. You remember I mentioned Tracy earlier, and she said that she and her daughter were working that process. They calculated it out. They were earning $1,600 per hour by working the process, and that is nothing to sneeze at. Okay, so excellent. Lori's chiming in, so helpful, especially the records. All right, so let's all write down our commitment on the top page 6. Okay, here's what I need you to write. I will invest the time, money, and effort needed for success. I will invest the time, money, and effort needed for success. My accountant, I went to visit him one time, and he did not invest this way. His daughter missed out on full tuition scholarships because they missed a deadline. So you have to invest the time and the money and the effort. And right now is when you need to do that. 11th grade is absolutely critical, but it's great to start thinking about this and investing in the process in 10th grade so you don't feel behind. Okay, has everybody written that down? All right, everybody's written that down. Okay, good. So let's talk about solutions. How do you invest, right? Well, you could invest in a box of chocolates, always recommended. And they're tasty, but they may not help. What will help, though, is the college lunch solution. It will solve your problem. I will help you through the college lunch solution to teach you how to guide the process. I will teach the teenager how to do their part. You will be the coach guiding your child, and I provide the playbook and the cheerleading and the encouraging. You won't be alone because you'll have me with you, and you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars that you don't have to get the information that you need in order to succeed. What does the college lunch solution provide? It gives you the knowledge you need, the encouragement to motivate you, the accountability reminders to keep you on task, all for a modest investment that can reap some huge rewards. It makes the process affordable. It makes college affordable, but it's also enjoyable because you get that continual support. It's like having a coffee buddy. Let me explain what the college lunch solution is. The college lunch solution is a big, huge bundle of online training resources. It includes classes, workbooks, ebooks, resources. It has over 56 hours of training classes. Actually, we're up to 61 hours of training classes right now because I just added some more this past week. It has the downloadables, the video and audio of classes, workbooks, tracking tools, templates, articles. There are 12 ebooks with detailed information. There are 8 core modules for college and launch that meet your need every step of the way with some specific instruction for your teenagers. Information on finding a college, many hours of training on how to pay for college, applying for college, preparing for the launch, succeeding in college after they graduate. There is an overview of the college launch solution on the very last page, page 7 of your workbook. And we also have more information on the chat. Matt, if you could just chime in on chat so you could grab a downloadable. That way, if you wanted to, print it off and share it with your significant other, that would really help you give them all the information if they're not listening to me. Now, the college launch solution does include a teen track to help you with your teenager. It has 5 hours of training specifically for the teenager. It's convenient and online. Yes, the parents can come if they want to, but it's really intended for the teenager to understand the process. That 5 hours is the very minimum that the teenager needs to understand in order to be successful. There's a 4-hour seminar giving them the overview and a 1-hour extended training class on the 10 critical C's for college and career success. Now, second, just in case your teenager is working along with you and doing all the 61 classes in the solution, then it has suggestions on how you can use all of their work that they do for high school credit, right? So it includes course descriptions for an English class called Literature and Essay Writing, as you're writing those application essays. And it also has a course description for an elective class called College and Career Readiness as they go through their SAT or ACT preparation and taking those classes on college and career readiness. Now, the college launch solution does have a no risk 30-day unconditional money back guarantee. It is a one-time payment for access to all of that training. You get 2 years of access, plenty of time to get through the hard work stage. You can use it for that 2 years. You can use it for your whole family, and you can cancel coaching at any time and use this product independently if you decide you don't want to get coaching. It is a digital product. Nothing's going to be mailed to you. But let me explain the coaching option so you can have a cheerleader in your corner, all right? The best part about the college launch solution is that you can add the coaching option that is perfect for you and your budget. So let me explain each of these two separately, and you can see them on the last page of your workbook as well. The first option is group coaching, and it is best for most families, okay? So if you want to circle the words most families on the last page, that'd be great. This shows what you get with that option. You get the monthly accountability emails to keep you on track. You'll get instruction for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, so you can use it with your older teens and younger teens. It's filled with encouragement. It gives you your monthly assignment. It gives a tip for your teen. Hey, teenager, don't forget to do this. It gives a money-saving tip for thrifty parents like me. You get a monthly question and answer workshop so that you can ask me the things that don't come up in the college launch solution. If you need something specific, what about the CLT, for example? I'll be able to answer that. It includes a private Facebook group so that you can get support from others, like on the weekend, right? It's Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Oh no, what's the CLT? You can ask somebody. Now, this plan includes full access to all 8 training modules. And if you get the group coaching, you also get the Silver Training Club access. That will actually help you homeschool your younger children. Now, basically, this option provides just enough coaching to get you through the process without going crazy. You have the knowledge and support and accountability that you need. The first month is free. You can cancel at any time. Group coaching is $27 a month. The second option is private coaching, and it is best for some families. You might want to circle some families. This is where you get private coaching. You get everything I mentioned before, but they also get more when they choose this option. Because with this option, you get the Gold Care Club access. That's going to help you homeschool your teenagers of any age, middle school through high school. Plus, you get weekly personal one-on-one coaching, you, me, talking on the phone together. And I'm available by email when you need help quickly. Now, I can't take very many Gold Care members. I can't take more than I can handle, right? So we do have to limit that just to the first 25 people that buy today because the slots fill up quickly. Again, the first month is free. You can cancel at any time. You can use this independently. While you're a member, it is $67 per month. But again, you can cancel at any time. Now, for both of these, the group coaching and the private coaching option, the accountability emails are sent on the first day of the month. So I've sent September 1st already. What I've done is I've posted the September accountability email in our private Facebook group. So if you purchase today, you can easily find your September to-do list there on the private Facebook group. Now, there's actually a no coaching option as well, and this is best for a few families. There's no specific button to push for that. All you have to do is order group coaching and then cancel your membership within the first 30 days. After canceling, there's no monthly fee. But what that means is no coaching means no monthly accountability emails to keep you on track, no monthly Q&A workshop to scoop up any missing questions, no additional help for your other homeschooled children, and all because there's no monthly fee, right? With the no coaching option, though, you do keep all 8 training modules. You just have to be working on them independently. And for that reason, this option is best only for parents who are very confident, very highly organized, or very low income. Now, the college launch solution is really a great value. With that 2-year access, the classes and tools and resources, my husband, the engineer, calculated the total value as $2,730. Which is cool. And I realize that's just a fraction of what professional college coaches would charge in order to guide you through the process. But I also know as a homeschool parent, there ain't no way I could have afforded that. And most homeschool parents couldn't spend that amount of money. I do understand homeschool family finances. So while the value is $2,730, the regular price is only $497. I chose that because that is literally 1/10 the cost of hiring a professional college coach, right? Because the average cost of a professional college coach is about $5,000 per year. But for those of you who know me, you know I really like a good deal, and that's why I'm always concerned with saving dollars and cents. And so we do have a September special, and you can save $100 today when you use promo code SEPT100. Just make sure it's a little S, little E, little P, little T, 100. Okay. Your total investment is only $397. Now, if you did the math over the 2 years, that's really only $17 a month, right? It's the cost of a pizza. And I'm going to provide you with the encouragement and training that you need to be successful. And with a reasonable emotional and monetary investment, you get 2 full years of help, which is how long it takes to launch a child. So it is geared towards families with a 10th, 11th, and 12th grader. If you are a planner, a header, the college solution will just bless your socks off. But my focus is really for families that are nearing the end of their homeschool journey. So make sure you've written down that promo code. You'll see the group coaching option in the offer tab. You'll see the private coaching option in chat. If you don't see them, don't worry. Just say which coaching option you want, and my staff will give it to you while I'm busy answering questions. Now, I love to add bonuses to make your life better, and hopefully you like bonuses too. So if you do order by September 21st, the end of our sale, you'll get a surprise bonus. This is the 4 ebook bonus, and it includes my best-selling ebooks on homeschooling high school, college admission and scholarships, setting the record straight, finding the faith, and Technologic. Those 4 books are free when you order now. We also have another surprise bonus. If you purchase by September 21st, you'll get a 4 workshop bonus. These were recorded at live conferences across the nation, and it has 4 classes. One is Beyond Academics. Another is Finding the Faith to Homeschool High School. The other is the 1-hour transcript workshop. You'll get that transcript done in 1 hour. The other one is creating transcripts for your unique child to answer all those lingering questions about the transcript. But I need to give some big bonuses to people who are joining me live online right this very moment. And don't wait until September 21st, okay? If you purchase the College Launch Solution today, then you'll get this 20 class bonus. Now, this is only if you order within the next 30 minutes. Okay, Matt, did you start the countdown clock? So it'll go until 1/4 till the hour. You can get this bonus added. If you order in the next 30 minutes, you'll receive all 20 of my parent training a la cartes. Now listen, if you're on a recording, this is not available to you. This is only for people that are attending with me live right now. And these also have to be added manually to your account. So one of my assistants, Robin or Anita, is going to have to add this to your account. So it probably won't show up on your account until tomorrow, but only if you purchase in the next 30 minutes. Now, I do have one other fast mover bonus. The first 10 people to purchase, we're actually going to mail you paperback books, right? So you have something that you can take in the bathtub and, highlight, dog ear, underline, everything to your heart's content. You'll get all 4 of these books if you're the first 10 customers to purchase. And we'll send you an email to tell you you're the first 10. We'll get your mailing address so make sure that you look for that email if you're the first 10 people. And just remember what I said about the private coaching. I only have 25 slots available. So if you're thinking about private coaching, you probably want to jump on that one. You can always downgrade to the group coaching later on, but once it's filled, it's filled. Okay. All right. Let me show you what happens next really quickly. First, you select your coaching option. So you choose the $27 a month group coaching or the $67 a month private coaching. And then you go to the order form. See that blue arrow there? That's where you'll fill out your billing information. And then on the other side, that's where you fill out your credit card information. I do want you to know we have a secure e-commerce site. The next thing you want to do is add the promo code. You see that squiggly red arrow there? You click on the words, have a promo code. And up above that word then will pop up a spot where you can type in the promo code. Remember, it's little s, little e, little p, little t, the number 100. But then you don't actually get the discount until you hit apply. You see that big red arrow? Make sure you hit the word apply. Okay, this is what it looks like before you hit the apply button, and this is what it looks like after you hit the apply button. Make sure you get the price you want before completing your purchase. Otherwise, I'll think you're leaving me an awesome tip. Okay. One last detail, we do have a one-time offer for the comprehensive record solution. Most people that are at this stage in their high school career have already made their course descriptions. If you have not, then you might want to add the comprehensive record solution to help you get all of your records done quickly. After your purchase, this is what the College Launch Solution looks like. You'll see the menu on the right, core training for teens, finding a college, paying for college, applying for college, right? As you click on each menu item, below that, there will be 4 different modules, and you look under each header to see the course content. Each one of those headers there where it says course content, each one of those 4 areas is filled with information. Okay. Oh, and see where it says surprise bonuses? That's where I'm going to add your bonuses based on when you purchased. Okay. Let me summarize in pictures for those of you who need pictures, right? If you purchase now, you get $100 off when you apply the promo code. You get my 4 best-selling books, ebooks on homeschooling high school. You get the 4 workshop mini conference if you order by September 21st. But if you're one of the first purchasers, you'll also get the 4 paperback books mailed to your home. The first 25 people can choose the private coaching option. And if you purchase by a quarter till the hour, then you'll get the the 20 class bundle with a $300 value. And with your purchase, you get 2 years of access for your whole family use and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember, you can cancel coaching at any time. You'll always have the college launch solution. The coaching is something that you pay for each month. But you can always use it independently if that monthly payment becomes a burden at some point, which I know is very sweet. Okay. So I do hope you'll join me inside the college launch solution and purchase now with this wonderful package so it will all be yours. I want you to picture yourself here with all of the other happy homeschoolers that I've been helping recently. Okay. Think about how you're going to look forward to hearing your success story after your child is successfully launched into college and career. And I really hope that you'll join me inside the college launch solution. Well, I do hope that you will ask your questions now, and I'll be able to answer them as best I can. I will say we have well over 100 people that are currently on right now, and so I'm going to do my best to answer your questions. All right. If you asked a question very, very early in the class, you might want to repeat it now because I'm not going to be able to look through the very bottom of the questions. But I will say the most common question I get is, how do I know if it's right for me? Okay. Again, this is most helpful if you have a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader. Okay. And that's the people that are answered, that get the most information from the accountability email. Okay. Matey said, hey, how do I find the Facebook group? Good question, Matey. I believe that you've purchased this earlier, and the private Facebook group, if you send us a question on that staff inbox, you see the email address there on the screen, support@homehighschoolhelp. Send them an email and they'll make sure that they give you instructions on how to find the private Facebook group. Okay. Karen says, could we add the monthly fee in the future? Yes, you can. So you can buy the college launch solution now, and then later on, if you decide that you want some group or private coaching, you can add it later on. If you're a silver member and you have an active purchase of the college launch solution, as long as it's within 2 years of purchasing the college launch solution, when you're a silver training club member, you are also a group coaching member. So you can add it in the future. And again, the way to get that no coaching option, Karen, is you purchase the college launch solution with group coaching, and then you cancel group coaching right away. And then you can rejoin at any time the group coaching. It's a little harder to say that you can purchase the private coaching because it's hard for me to know if the Gold Care Club is going to be full at that time. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to Lee in Louisiana. Thank you to Lori in California. Thank you to Jen in Virginia, praying for you about that hurricane. Thank you to Rachel in California and Jody in Georgia. Thank you so much for your purchases today. Let's see. Susan says, how much does the first month of no coaching option cost? Okay, so Susan, when you use the promo code that we're providing today, your cost today is $397. You'll cancel the monthly fee. You'll have 1 free month of coaching and you won't receive a charge for that. So the first month of coaching is free. You just have to remember to cancel when you make your purchase. Okay. Beth, I saw this question a couple of times, so I want to make sure I answer this. What is the CLT? Because I mentioned that in passing because somebody asked a question in passing. The CLT is a new test that is supposed to be an alternative to the SAT or the ACT. Okay, so now there's 3 tests you can choose for: SAT, ACT, CLT. The CLT is different because it's based on classical education. So it's best for people that do a classical ed in some way. But because it's new, it doesn't have a lot of scholarships tied to it, the way that the SAT or the ACT does. Also, it's less well known by colleges, and so they may not have a way to automatically award scholarships based on the CLT the way that they do the SAT. So it's a good alternative. It's becoming increasingly popular. It's an alternative to SAT or ACT, but it's not a good fit for everyone just yet. Okay, Amanda's question. Do you suggest buying this to access for 10th and 11th grade, or maybe 10th to mid 12th grade? Okay, Amanda, if you have a child that is entering 10th grade now or entering 11th grade now, that is absolutely the best time to buy. Okay. If you have a child that is entering 12th grade, there's a lot of things that I wish I could have told you last year, but I can't. But the accountability emails are geared to help you, even if you haven't done much for college admission, to talk you through that process if you have a 12th grader. Okay. And so by doing that, with 12th grade, I can still help you, but I long for people to get the college launch solution in 11th grade or even 12th grade, because I think that's the way you'll get the best bang for your buck. Okay. Let's see. All right. Got a couple more questions. Lanif says, will it hurt me if I take the SAT for the first time in October as a senior? No, it won't. So here's the deal. If you are a senior in high school and you have not yet taken the SAT or the ACT, that's the first thing you want to do. Locate the first time you can take each one of those, sign up for each one of those, take a sample test at home, figure out which of those tests is better for you, and then you only take the one that is the better test for you. You want them to have SAT or ACT scores for the first time, ready to go. They can see them right when you turn in your application, because many scholarships, many admission decisions are based on those test scores. So you want to have them ready to go. And that's one of the reasons why in the college launch solution, it will teach you to take the SAT or ACT twice when you are in 11th grade. That way they have 2 scores to choose from. They're all ready to go. They can super score those if they want to in order to get you the best scholarships. So, but if you haven't, no harm, no foul. Just make sure that you take the test that's best for you as soon as humanly possible. Okay. And Linda, hello, Linda. Could you please tell us again how to access the 75 college application essay prompts? Yes, if you're on my website, you can ask to chat and ask for that link, and they will pop that in there. Also, my staff here can give that to you as well. All right. That's just for people that are attending the class, by the way. Elena says, my daughter is a senior this year. If she scored well on the SAT last year, should she retake it? Okay, Elena, one of the things that is often surprising to people is that colleges will often do something that they call super score. And that's why I like for you to send 2 SAT scores or 2 ACT scores. So I'm kind of answering Christina's question at the same time. I like for you to send 2 scores to colleges, because there are some colleges that will pick and choose the subset that they like the most. So let's use the SAT, for example. It has basically an English part and a math part. So if you send 2 scores, they'll choose the best English score and the best math score and combine it into a total score that's better than either of those times you took it. Okay. So even if you have scored well, if you can talk your daughter into it, have her retake that, and it might include better scholarships. Now, that said, I realize there are some times when parents simply can't talk their kids into taking the SAT or ACT again. And, do you really blame them? I wouldn't want to take the test again, which is one of the reasons why it's a little helpful if they do it twice when they're a junior and you have a little bit more control and they're less of an adult that time and less likely to say no. Svetlana's question then is, do you recommend taking both the SAT and the ACT? This is a little complicated, Svetlana. I recommend that you take them both at home, timed, and that way you can choose which test is best for your child, right? So you take them both at home, timed, and you look at the scores and you compare it, and you'll see, oh, definitely does better on the ACT, or oh, definitely does better on the SAT. And that way you'll know which test should you be studying for. And then you only study for the test that already makes your child look smarter, and you only take that one test. There are very, very few colleges that require you to take one over the other of those 2 tests. If they do, you can always take the opposite test if you need to. Chances are that's not going to happen. Chances are you'll be able to do just fine using the test that is best for your child. You see, on the coasts of the country, East Coast and West Coast, most kids take the SAT. And in the center of the country, the middle of our country, most students will take the ACT test. And colleges want students from all areas of the country. So they're actually very used to kids having both kinds. And so you don't have to take both. You just want to use the one that's best for your child. Let's see, we talked about, Kelly's question. My son is a senior, will be taking the SAT for the first time in October. Will this hurt his chances? No. I'm interested because that's like the second or third question I've seen that for that exact question. That's interesting. I'm glad to put your mind at ease there. By the way, did you see on page 6 of your workbook, there's lots of room there to take notes from the Q&A. Hey, really quickly, I wanted to say thank you, Heidi, for your purchase. Thank you, April in Texas as well. And thank you, Sarah in Texas, for your purchase. Boy, last year this time we were talking about hurricanes in Texas. By the way, for those of you who have already made your purchases today, make sure that you request to be in the Insiders Club, the private Facebook group. Okay, it's actually worth being on Facebook just for that, so you can get your questions answered if you needed to. The private Facebook group. If your Facebook does not show your actual name that you are ordering under, let's say you made up a name for Facebook or whatever, do make sure you tell us what your name is so we can look up and make sure that you're a member. Okay. Let's see, the Common app. Can you attach course descriptions? This is Tanya. All right, Tanya, this is a little complicated, so listen up, okay? When you fill out the Common application, they will ask you how many transcripts you're going to upload. One of those transcripts is going to be your homeschool transcript. The other transcript is going to be your course descriptions, okay? Now, you'll also have to leave room for the student to upload transcripts from, the public high school if they took a class there, the community college if they took a class there. So you want to make sure you leave room for that. But the course descriptions are uploaded like a transcript, okay? Let's see. Lori said, you said to mention the longest activities first, but not to mention activities before high school. But what is the longest activity is basically forever, like 4-H since the age of 5. Great question. Or earning the Presidential Service Award 5 years in a row, beginning in 8th grade. Okay, so here's what you want to do, Lori. Let's use your 4-H example, okay? You would say they've been involved in 4-H for grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then you'd say dash Presidential Service Award 9, 10, 11, 12, right? To show that they were in it for all 4 years of high school and they got the Presidential Service Award all 4 years of high school. But you don't mention it earlier on. That's only something that the student would mention, not something that the parent would mention. Okay, so if this is your daughter, for example, your daughter may say, I remember the first time I helped a goat give birth as my 4-H project. I've been involved in 4-H since I was 5 years old and I've loved it the whole time. Okay, so you see how you start with something shocking and then you casually mention that you've been doing it since you were 5 years old. But it's not something, activities before high school are not something mentioned by the school. They're only mentioned by the student. Let's see. Christina said, thanks. What do you think about using the Coalition app instead of the Common app? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think that it is far easier to use the application provided by the college because then you can specify each essay, make it very specific for the college you're applying to, demonstrate that genuine interest to your particular college in the best possible way, name dropping like crazy everybody that you met when you were on your college visits, etc. Both the Coalition app and the Common app are trying so hard to make the application process easier, but because they're supposed to fit private schools and public schools and homeschools, and they're also supposed to fit public universities and private universities and Christian universities, right? So with all of these combinations, sometimes it feels like they don't fit anyone. And it does, as a parent, it feels like you're beating your head against the wall a little bit. So it seems like one of those would be easier to use because, one time and then you're done. But actually, it's a little harder to use those. All right. So that's just my opinion. You asked me for my opinion. Hey, just so you know, we have 5 minutes left on making your purchase so that you can get the $300 value bonus of the 20 a la carte classes. By the way, those 20 classes that you're getting when you order within the next 5 minutes, those are forever classes. So those are things that don't go away after 2 years. You actually will keep those forever. I just got an email from somebody who has been a member off or on since 2010, right? And she actually still has all of those 20 a la carte classes that she purchased with a sale one time. It's still hers. Okay. Let's see. Leslie's question, any words of wisdom on test anxiety? Yes, actually, I just recently worked on a blog post for test anxiety. A lot of it comes down to what I call the soft skills of test preparation, familiarity with the test questions, being familiar with the calculator that you're using, knowing the format that it's going to be in. You've gone over it many times. You're well rested. You're not hungry. You're not on a sugar rush. You're not on a sugar crash. All of those things can help you with test anxiety. Now, there are some people that do actually have anxiety disorder. And for those people, you use the things that are helpful to you for your anxiety in general. Mindfulness, right? I'm here, I'm sitting at a desk. I breathe in, I breathe out. Nobody is here to hurt me. I am just sitting at a desk. This is no different from filling out bubbles at home in front of my mom making cookies, right? So it depends on the situation with test anxiety. Let's see, other questions. Okay, we answered the course descriptions on the Common App. Maria says, is it possible to get full tuition scholarships even though you have no financial need? Yes, Maria, absolutely. It is possible. In fact, I shared that story of my CPA who could have gotten a full tuition scholarship had his daughter only turned it in on time. But she didn't, and he did not, and they paid full price. And I think that kind of points out why you need to be the college coach for your child, why it's a partnership between the parent and the teen, because yes, it is their job to submit the application on time, but it's also your job to make sure that they actually turn it in on time. Anyway, so yes, Maria, it is totally possible for you to get that, even when there is no financial aid. All right, let me just say, if our big bonus is 2 more minutes away, so I'd like to know if you are hesitating to make your purchase today. I'd love to know why you're hesitating so I could answer those questions for you before the bonuses go away. All right, that'd be great. Just let me know why you're hesitating and I'll try to answer that right away. Elena says, oh, this is such an important question. My daughter has been offered free applications and essays that have been waived. Is it a trap? Okay, so this is an interesting point, all right? Because colleges want as many people to apply as possible, right? The more people who apply and get rejected, the higher the college is in their ranking. So it benefits them when they can get more and more and more people to apply. But they know that teenagers don't like to write essays. And so they'll waive the essay. Okay. So if you apply, there's a chance you'll get in, but it's not a super good chance, right? But if it is a college that you're interested in and they have offered you free application, that's excellent. But I don't want you to not fill out the essay. The essay is the only way that you're going to be able to convince the college that you're absolutely committed. You've visited them. You've done your research. They know that you like them. And they know that if they offer you admission, you will say yes, because you've said something in your essay that conveys that information to them. Okay. It is great when they offer you a free application. Here's a big tip. You might want to write this down. When you visit a college, often they'll offer you free admission, right? One of the questions that you can ask when you visit a college is, how much does it cost to apply here? And when they tell you, whether it's $50 or $90, they tell you, you can just say, ooh, that's a lot, right? And you don't have to complain, just, suck in the air from the room, okay? And that's usually their cue to say, but I can offer you free applications if you need that. And you can say, yes, in fact, I do, right? So you can often get your application fee waived when you visit the college. But even if they waive the essay, always do the essay, okay? All right. Vanessa says, I'm reluctant to purchase because I'm still waiting on an answer to the community college syllabi question. We're looking for Vanessa's community college syllabi question. Okay, here we go. Do I need to include the community college syllabi in the list of course descriptions? My son has completed an AS degree in engineering technology and is finishing up his AS degree in engineering. Do we include that information on his course descriptions? Okay, you ready, Vanessa? It is optional because the college will be able to track down the school information from the community college if they have any questions. Again, the course descriptions, the purpose of that is to show information about the school. All right, here's the class we teach at our school. Now, that said, Your scholarships may be increased if you make the process as easy as possible for the colleges where you're applying. And if you do their work for them and you say, here is the course description for my community college courses, then they will be so thankful that you did their work for them that hopefully that will result in scholarships. Now, let me speak specifically to the engineering portion. The university that you apply to is going to care very much about specifics in the training that you received. They're going to want to know, not just does it say computer coding, what language can he code in? Okay, that's one of the reasons why specifically for engineering, it's extremely helpful to have course descriptions. When you're doing a course description for the community college, you can very simply explain the grading. You can say, very simply, you can say the community college has provided the grade. The final grade for this class was A. Or you can use the information from their syllabus, right? And put all of that in there, right? In this course, the grade was provided by this professor at this community college. His grading criteria was 25% on this, 15% on that, 7% on this, and however complicated they make that, okay? So it can be helpful to list course descriptions from community college, but not required. I'll tell you what I personally did. I included course descriptions for all classes that were completed through junior year, but I did not include dual enrollment classes that were currently in process because they hadn't ended yet, okay? And so that's how I kind of broke that down in my own life. Let's see, questions. All right, so we answered Vanessa. And we answered Vanessa 3 times. Very good. Elena says, it did seem like a loss of opportunity to talk about herself and let them get to know her. Yes, that's right. And that is why you write that essay. Very good. Okay, Melissa's question. Hi, Melissa. What is your opinion about skipping the optional SAT or ACT essay if they are not required by the college? Okay, so when you take the SAT or ACT, you do that in junior year, usually in the spring. In spring of junior year, sometimes you don't even know where what college your child is going to apply to, right? Because you want to have 4 to 8 colleges where your child applies, and you may not even know which are the 8. You may only know, I know it's going to be these 2, but I don't know what the rest are going to be. And so it's hard to know whether some of your colleges are going to require the essay, all right? So I always recommend that students take the optional essay because it's optional from the SAT or ACT company, but it may be required by a college. And you don't always know where your child is going to be applying to, okay? So the other thing is, if it is senior year and your child has to take the SAT or the ACT and the essay is not required by all of the colleges where you are applying, that puts you in a pretty unique situation, right? You're thinking, well, do I do it or do I not do it? If your child is a pretty good writer, absolutely take the essay, okay? It can only help the situation if they're a pretty good writer. If they're a horrible writer, they have terrible dyslexia or dysgraphia, and they really don't write very well at all, then you would skip it because you know it's not going to be required. Danielle said, I upgraded my Silver Training Club to the Gold Care Club, so I'm hesitating because the college launch solution is simply not in my budget right now. I have a senior and I've been working on records and watching Lee's training, and now I need counseling more than anything. So I'm in the Gold Care Club. I think that's a great solution, Danielle. So sometimes the Gold Care Club is just all you need to get through that 3-month push of getting the job done. And when people feel behind and they know they need counseling, then sometimes the Gold Care Club is the easier way to go, because I can give you what you need when you need it. It doesn't have all of the how to help your child thrive type stuff, but it can get you through that application process. So I am with you on that one. Hey, just wanted to let you know that our special offer with the 20 bonus classes has ended. However, don't miss out on the other bonuses, right? So on the screen now, you'll see the remaining bonuses that are there for you while I'm answering questions. You won't miss out. I am hoping you'll join me inside the College Launch Solution and purchase now, so all of these wonderful goodies can be yours. And also, people are occasionally missing the apply button. I know some people are still trying to order. Make sure you hit the coupon code and apply it, okay? You deserve a little help during this final leg of the race, and I'd love to help you get started. Cross that finish line with joy, knowing you did the very best for this family that you love. I do want you to make an emotional and monetary investment in education, and I hope that you'll join me inside the College Launch Solution. And by the way, if you have just purchased, again, I know you missed the September accountability email, and I have posted that on the private Facebook group. So you can find your September to-do list there. As an encouragement to join the group, you can find instructions on how to join that private Facebook group in the ongoing support module of the College Launch Solution. Let's see, what other question? It's hard for me to scan these questions. Oh, I wanted to say really quickly, thank you, Shannon, for your purchase today. Let us know if you have any trouble finding the Insiders Club on the College Launch Solution, or if you need any help locating the September accountability email. Let's see, Marcel. Hello, Marcel. She has 2 questions. Number 1, do we include any awards from before high school? No, you do not. And that is very sad for homeschool moms, but not at all what a high school guidance counselor will do. And when you're applying, you're really applying as the high school guidance counselor, and they do not include awards before high school. If it's something so incredibly significant, again, it would be something that the teenager would write an essay about. But generally speaking, it's not something that you mention, okay? Number 2, says Marcel, I know we need to apply early to maximize scholarships, but we haven't actually started writing essays yet. Starting right away, but I'm worrying about getting it technically perfect and also 1 month early. Any guidance? Yeah, I do have a big suggestion. When you have a senior and you're feeling that crunch, as long as you're not doing dual enrollment, I encourage you to put school aside. Put your curriculum aside. All of your English becomes your writing. Only do the most core subjects that you really can't put aside, like maybe your math or your science or something. But spend the bulk of your day working on those applications, filling out those forms. You run outside, you do PE a little bit. Working on your essay. The next day you come back, you work a little more on the forms, you work a little more on the essay. And by putting school aside for a short amount of time, that can really help you to get it done that 1 month early, okay? Teenagers often will get hung up on that technically perfect thing. I would rather they got hung up on the hook because the hook is very much more important. Technically perfect, that can come, right? Eventually the mom will be able to read it over, the dad will read it over, or a favorite teacher will read it over, and they'll get technically perfect. But the hook is much more important. Even if you turn in a very, very rough draft to the person that's helping you edit, they can make it technically perfect. Okay. One of the things that we did when my children were in 11th grade is we practiced quick essay writing. How do you write an essay in an hour? And that was extremely helpful when we were writing these college application essays, because we would brainstorm and down select topics, till we had to write these 4 essays. And I would just say, okay, I want you to write an essay in an hour about this topic, and it's going to be for this college admission essay. By having something written in paper during that first hour, it became so much easier to modify that and change that and edit that. And what do you think about this word, son? Or that's kind of a boring hook, And so we could work on it. But staring at that blank piece of paper can be a little scary and intimidating for a teenager. Let's see. Melissa says, if a third party is going to send a transcript on your student's behalf, like, for example, the AP course, do you also include that grade on your transcript as well? Melissa, yes, you do. Your homeschool transcript is the clearinghouse for all other educational experiences, right? Every class that you have another transcript from, it should all go on your transcript. It's as if your child transferred into your school district. Your homeschool, right, is a school district. And so all the other classes that have ever been taken get transferred with that student. If you're a student transferred into a different school district, all of those classes ever taken in high school would be on that transcript. And so that's what you do as well. The other transcripts that are sent directly to the university, those become the backup, right? The proof that what you said was really true. But your transcript is the summary of all of that information for you. Okay. Listen, I think our time is up. So we need to end for the day. I am so sorry. But I've been yakking now for a long time. And I wanted to say thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. So listen, if you've made your order, please check your spam filter, make sure that you've gotten everything. You've gotten that email that we sent you. If not, just get on my website and you can chat with Robin for a couple of moments. I know this was exhausting, but hopefully it was a little fun. If you feel like it was fun, that would be great. I'd love to hear from you if you thought that it was a good time today and you learned a lot of important information. So thank you for coming. My staff is going to stay online just for about 15 minutes more to answer your questions about how to order or which coaching option is best or how do you cancel. You can also email my staff. Look on the board here, support@homehighschoolhelp.com. My staff will be in tomorrow morning and they can answer your questions tomorrow too. Okay. So don't forget, though, to use the coupon code. So I'm not thinking you gave me $100 tip, okay? And the coupon code is SEPT100, SEPT100, little s, little e, little p, little t, 100. Okay, so thank you so much. Oh, and Alice said your classes always educate and encourage. That's wonderful. And Danielle says, I look forward to our first School Care Club phone support. I do too. I take my phone calls, Danielle, on Wednesday. So that's next week. If you'd like to get a consultation by email tomorrow, you can send me some questions or even just send me an introduction letter that I can read tomorrow when I get to work. And that way we can get you started quickly. All right. Oh, and last thing, yes, my husband said he's going to be on the chat with you for just a few more minutes as I catch my breath and drink a gallon of water. And he will answer any questions that you have for a couple of moments as well. All righty. So thank you so much, everyone. We are going to put a poll up when I end the class. If you could just answer the poll, that'd be super helpful. This is actually the first time I've given this particular class. So I'd love to know what you thought. It went a little longer than I was expecting, but hopefully you've decided that it was valuable anyway, and you're glad that it lasted that long. All right. So I just wanted to say thank you all so much for being here with me today. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay. Okay, great. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.